Oh my god. This psycho. Actually, let me see. Ooh. Hey, little bud. Hey, buddy. Little fat squirrel. Oh shit, there's a crow over there. Right there. Oh, hey, bud. Oh my god. Fucking around with a woodpecker over there. Six, do you mind? Oh my god, they're they're everywhere. Oh my lord. One's chilling there. A whole bunch of them out there right now. Yes, I see you. Look at this. Grab these two. Oh, look at you. Oh, you're so sweet and cute. Yes. Yes. Zuka. Oh my goodness. What, baby? What is with your cute, crazy absurdity of cuteness? It's unacceptable. Unacceptable, bleh. Absolutely unforgivable. Look at you. Look at your ass. It is unforgivable. Look at you. Look at this fucking crime that I have to deal with. Look at this war crime. Yeah, that's right. Quit with this cuteness. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, you're not allowed to be like this. It's unacceptable. Just too much. You can't keep getting away with this. You just can't keep getting away with this. Boom. Ugh. Sukov's walking war crime of cuteness. It's too much, and it's unacceptable. This is unacceptable, bro. What you got going on here is absolutely, like, unconditional criminality. But because of such, you do deserve these. I don't know why, but you do. Look at you. Crazy little psycho. Man, I hate these fucking, like, cut-hour work days. But there's at least a silver line. I got a bunch of posters today. Got a fat-ass huge one right here, then I got a small one right here. And one of them is a little tangential to some devilly do's. But I you know, you gotta give some love for the marijuanas with the Devil's Harvest. So I'm gonna put this somewhere up in here. I just don't know where yet. Probably like right here, I think. And then I have another one that's fucking gargantuanly. I don't think I'm gonna be able to actually show this. It's too huge. Like, I could kind of, I think. It kind of. Like, yeah, it's becoming a little huge. Yeah, Zukov, do you mind? But it's a little huge. I can't exactly show the true size of it, actually, but I can't, like, fully unroll it. I could do this and just cover myself, though, so there you go. And both these just kind of... Syndicalist propaganda. Well, jeez, I don't know. What the fuck do you want? It's not, I mean, it's not just syndicalist propaganda, it's Frenchy syndicalist propaganda. It's in French. But from what I understand, it basically means a prolonged struggle in French, from what I've looked it up. So, Pretty simple. A pretty simple little quote for the bottom of it. That's what it says, right? What does it say specifically in French? I have to roll the I have to go all the way to the bottom. Jesus. Okay. Oh my fucking god. Okay, here we go. It says, do you mind? Le début donne le type longue. There you go. Le début de le type longue. Or something like that. I don't speak French. I probably butcher that. If France had its way, they'd have a revolution every 10 minutes. I mean, they do. They practically do. I mean, you gotta give the French one thing. I mean, they're about, like, sticking it to the man, practically. Yeah, I mean, maybe not entirely, but, I mean, they have this mentality of just like, hey, you are sacre bleu if you know, go against us. Oh, you don't go for what we want, so French government, we shall protest you. Sacre bleu. And then they go full ham. I remember once back in, like, I think the early 2000s, a bunch of French farmers, there was basically this policy that would fuck over a lot of French farms, and basically a whole coalition and like organization of a bunch of French farmers, especially around the Parisian area, for what they did. And they basically took all their tractors, all their, equipment, farming equipment, rigs, and stuff like that, anything they could transport, basically, and just dropped them off in the middle of high traffic areas in Paris and shit. It's like, oh, you're going to basically, try to gut off, farming subsidies and this and that, blah, blah, whatever. I forgot the details of it. I just remember that happening. I was just like, oh. So, as a form of protest, they basically send all the equipment for their farms into downtown of Paris, basically. It's like, oh, you want to fuck over the farms? Well, this is what happens when you fuck us over. I mean, I gotta give it to the French. I might meme on them a little bit, but I love their energy. They got that revolutionary energy that I just absolutely love. I think that's the reason why, at least for the Kaiserreich lore, when it comes to, the syndicalist movement in that timeline, I think that's why, it, like, at least for its rise, it was in France and Britain. Especially France, starting there, because it just makes sense. I think that makes the most perfect sense, considering France and its historical, struggles, especially in the modern industrial era. I mean, I think even exceptionally so. I'm honestly kind of surprised in our own actual timeline, tangential to the Bolshevik revolutions, that there wasn't kind of a smaller syndicalist one as well. Well, I guess there was, but I mean, obviously one that wasn't, anywhere close to having any influence. The meme of surrounding Frenchmen exists to keep a revolutionary French down. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Honestly, I didn't even really think of it that way, but yeah, kind of true. It's like, oh, how can the Frenchmen be so revolutionary if they surrender all the time? It's like, well, there's also a caveat. Maybe they're surrendering so then they can take your shit from behind you and then do a revolution against you, and they'd be like, wait, you have my gun. How do you have that? It's like, we surrendered. And you just kind of put your guard down. What can you say? What, do you think we make his baguettes behind your back? Huh? Besides, I mean, the reality, at least in World War II, at least, was that basically the French government / military couldn't react quick enough. I mean, if anything. Hence the whole, Blitzkrieg / Aaron Rommel's Ghost Division. Because, like, I mean, when you have an enemy that's moving so quickly to the point they're pretty much behind you already by the time you realize that, yeah, you're gonna kind of surrender quick. I mean, if anything, the whole meme just comes from due to the mass bum rush that France got during that time. If anything, probably if they had preparations or were highly aware of what was about to happen and shit, they probably would have been able to hold out for a little longer. Probably not that well, though. Just all things considered. But they were just like, if we just kind of let, the big baddie, just let him have his stuff, they won't go after us. We won't pay attention to it. It's okay. But, oops. Sort of didn't work out. Paul did a stream earlier? I didn't even know that. What the hell? I don't get notified for these things. What the fuck? World War II France was expecting another World War I style war. Germany perfectly executed lightning war. Yeah. Because also, like, a lot of French military structure at the time was very old guard. By that, I mean they basically just thought, just like in the Great War, very Napoleonic-like. But by the time World War I was ending, they, like, at that time, like, I think even some of the more modern generals were realizing, this style of war isn't exactly, the way to do it anymore. Considering the weapons that we're seeing now, like tanks at the end of the war, fucking, the chemical warfare and shit, aircraft. It ended up making that type of warfare just quickly obsolete. And I think that's the reason why that war was the last one of its kind. And for good reason. Oh shit. I like the speed. They like this. Motherfuckers are fucking a kiss to kiss. My thing like bliss. Then just that shit when your text dismissed. If you like this, don't know the one who's a jump for this. You'll be missed. I got another dog for the trunk for this. Any news, bro? Outside of, actually, I did, yesterday delve into a little bit of, whatchamacallit. There's, like, these store, chains called King Stoopers, I think. And, there's a judge, that pretty much, did an order of, like, hey, we're limiting how many people can go on a strike line, basically. Which, if you know anything about that, that basically means, hey, we're going to limit how many people are on strike so scabs can get through. Basically. And allow, the company to continue to make money, etc., etc. So, I don't know where specifically, actually. I know it came from KDVR, some random local news shit. Judge limits number of picketers at King Stupor stores. So this was 2 days ago. Oh, it's in Denver, so a Denver judge has limited how many picketers can... Oh my god, something keeps popping up, won't let me see it. A Denver judge has limited how many picketers are allowed at each King Soopers location after the grocer asks restraining order to limit demonstrations in front of its stores. So wow. So that's the specifics. So King Soopers are just like, hey, we're going to fucking put a restraining order on demonstrators, as they're calling it, which are actually just picketers and they're workers. And basically making it so there could only be, like, my guess, probably, like, instead of, like, 40 or 50 people outside, maybe, like, 10. Fuck that. If those workers have any, like, actual, like, brains or bronze about them with this, they just double the numbers. If I was a church, I'd double the amount of pickets on that line. Exactly. And honestly, all things considered, they probably are. I mean, when it comes to shit like that, obviously the cops will come, and guess what they're gonna do? Probably arrest y'all. Or at least a good chunk of you. Or make you all try to leave. But, there's a reason why that type of like, cops do this all the time when it comes to picket lines, so... As long as you don't, you know, throw the first swing or anything like that, you're just gonna look like the good guys every step of the way. So if cops come and arrest you, just don't bother moving. Just sit there and lay down. Literally lay down on the ground and make them have to literally drag you out. Make them literally have to drag you and like grab, like have 4 cops have to like grab you from each arm and literally carry you. Like, that's how you have to fucking do that shit. Political or the winter storm? It's storm before work. It's my little power hour before I go to work. Sick off. What are you doing? Oh, look at you.
You guys miss me doing...
I such eating a bunch of beans beforehand for the car ride to the station.
My bad.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna open the door for him real quick.
Hit the unmute button. I mean, that could be forgiven.
Oh, look at you.
Good morning.
Oh.
As I was saying, into a dead mic, Guten Tag. Guten Morgen. Thought I was just silent. Thought I was just staring everybody down.
Ugh. Eat the most gassy food you can think so you can rip stink ass at work. Why would I do that? My coworkers would get fucked. I don't want to fuck them over. They're chill. Like, customers have like a whole like thing, like kind of like a wall between that and them. So, they won't be the ones fucked over.
You call yourself Johnny Guitar.
Johnny Guitar.
Baron Guitar. That's fucking stupid.
And also, Johnny Guitar is a good song.
Name is fucking stupid.
For my Johnny Guitar. So you can carpet fart your managers? Well, they don't show up. Like, they don't commute. Like, dude, the managers that suck, they hardly ever show their faces. And when they do, they're usually there barking orders and leaving.
Have you ever seen the 80s movie Forbidden Song?
Like, they're not exactly the most communicative or, you know, checking up on you and shit.
See why we disdain have you seens around here? Because a lot of them turn out that
I mean, it's like, ugh.
And then I just wait
They,
till,
like, whenever they do show up, they're just like, hey, can you make sure this is done, that's done, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then they leave. And it's like, what? Nothing like, hey, how's it going over here? No, like, y'all doing okay? Y'all might need, you know, a little help with something. Nothing like that. So it's like, whenever they do show up, it's like a quick little, like, drive-by.
Them's the rules.
And it sucks. It's like, from what I understand, my roommate at his work, because he works at Sportsman's, he has like a far better gig. Because they actually had a walkthrough the other day, apparently. And their, like, corporate managers were actually, like, talking to him and, you know, hanging out and shit. Like, hey, how y'all doing? What's up? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, what? Like, so, your Grand Moff Tarkins are basically, like, actually chill? Like, what the fuck? Like, when Emperor Palpatine shows up, he's actually chill? It's just like, what the fuck?
I'm just having fun. You know what I mean?
It's like, why can't we have that? Why are ours, like, literally just Palpatine?
Like, anybody that's been following me for a long time knows that, you know, my ex-girlfriend Ashley is a fucking super weeb. Like, if I hated weebs, it was pretty dumb of me to spend all those years with a weeb, you know? It's just, I just joke. I find that, like, honestly, those people, in fact, to be honest with you, when it comes to not just weebs, but, like, music and movies and stuff like that, I like poking the bear a lot, because I find that people get real defensive of that shit.
I love it. I love it when Paul pokes the bear, even in his shit that I like, because I know he's just trying to get under people's gears. He's trying to grind them up a little bit and put it to a halt and stir the pot, you know what I mean?
I honestly don't. Like, whatever you gotta do
I like it.
Match a little happiness.
It was fucking on King of the Hill the other day on Onion Nuggets, and I love King of the Hill, and I understood what he was doing. I couldn't help but be like...
I'll be honest with you, it is a little weird to me, but whatever. There's a lot of shit about, younger generations that's a little weird to me. And
I also think this, too.
It doesn't go beyond that.
I'm a young one, and I think this our generation. Well, I don't even want to identify with it. I want to like be a cusper, which I'm pretty sure for all intents and purposes, I'm just gonna consider that I am, because I think I am. Because the Zoomers are fucking odd.
Just make sure there's a dividing line here. I like riling people up. I like making fun. I like having fun.
Paul cast his line, but I didn't bite. I didn't either. In fact, I kind of knew. When he was going off of King of the Hill, I was like, you're just trying to trigger us fans of King of the Hill, Paul. We know that you are okay with it. And honestly, like, the only version of Blue Moon of Kentucky, like, the only version of that song that I actually like is on King of the Hill. There's not a full version of the song, and that's what pisses me off, honestly, because it's actually good. Because any other version of that song that you try to find online, it's like very slow. It's not as like fast paced. It's more of like a slow country song instead of like a bluegrass, faster paced country song. And it's just like, oh. It's just like, man. At least when it comes to country, I definitely prefer the bluegrass style of it more so than the slower ballad versions of country songs.
Which is fine. Like, look, that's the whole point of all this, right? I'm a fucking weirdo. According to, the average Joe my age, right? I don't got kids, I don't dress like people.
I'm sure Zukoff's done his biz. Find him and bring back.
I conduct myself like people I know. You know what I mean? So go ahead. You let whatever your flag is, fly it. I'll fly mine, you fly yours. We'll all exist. We make fun of each other, but at the end of the day, you still exist.
Look at you.
Exist. Your manga is still there after I rip it. Yeah.
Paul, Peggy Hill's clearly a neglectful mom to Bobby. You take that back, you son of a bitch. If anything, she's overprotective. Yeah, honestly, Peggy Hill's legit more, like, overprotective than anything. And honestly, like Peggy Hill is honestly, like, the typical, like, house mom that's bored as hell that ends up doing some crazy weird thing, like, every other episode.
I wish that were so.
Like, where she tries, like, there's all sorts of different things where she's trying to do, like, some sort of, like, business opportunity or some shit, like selling those, like, Tupperware things. Well, the equivalent of that in the show. She's done that a few times, actually. One time she did that, she almost gave the entire town of Arlington mustard gas. There was one episode on that. Paul didn't actually say that, by the way. I was just doing a bit. Wally! I'm just gonna pretend Paul said it. That's all. Yeah, I mean, I love Peggy, though. And then there was a time in Mexico and shit where she thought she knew Spanish, which I guess she does, but she doesn't actually understand it. She just knows how to speak it, and that's it. So whenever she's speaking Spanish, she thinks she's saying one thing, but she's actually saying some, like, horrible insult to somebody. Like, she was, I think I remember she, like, when she was talking to the Mexican judge, she was trying to say something like, hey, I'm just, a teacher, blah, 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 whatever. But she ended up just simply looking at the judge and saying, you're a donkey, basically. Or some shit. It was just like, what the fuck? I mean, how can you not love King of the Hill, man? When you got shit like that, I mean, how can you not love it? At least he said manga, right? Although, if he ever reads this, he'll probably say it wrong on purpose. Manga.
Never heard of a creepypasta? No, I have. I'm just like wondering.
Mangas.
In the midst of what we're talking about, I think it would be like a cool diversion to bring up creepypasta. What a creepypasta is.
Oh,
like little short form
Oh.
horror stories. They're fun, but like, what are we talking about creepypastas for?
That's why I saw that around here.
Wondering if
Follow the flow of the conversation.
That's what I saw.
goes through the light.
Fucking
Who's
rules.
over here?
I saw a video of Patrice O'Neal. Rest his soul.
That's what I saw right here.
Patrice O'Neal fucking on white people
Oh, yeah.
about that song.
He just borrowed it.
Creep.
Because I know he uses it when he's working on his little RC things.
You know how it goes into that. I don't belong here. He's like, dude, son, that little guitar sound right there just, like does something to white people.
I don't belong
It causes
here.
white people to just their fucking brain shorts out and then just start rocking. The Chuck.
I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. Can I help you? What is with this paw on my leg?
Deny it, dude. That chug, though.
Oh, there's something left in that. Need to re-up on the treats for you, bro. Oh. Good boy. Oh, that was a perfect balance. And you're balancing yourself good when you're standing up. Now I need to get him to walk. You can do hops, but I need to get him to start walking. That'd be epic.
There's something about that. Something about that note gets my goat. There's some other songs that the white people turned.
White
I mean,
people
like,
turned.
there's some old country songs and shit that are almost
Yeah, I was just about to say some country songs. Like, I'm thinking, Take This Job and Shove It. That's kind of like an old hokey pokey white guy song right there, honestly. What else?
Bohemian Rhapsody, yes. Pretty much any Queen song. Get a whole party of white people turned up.
Nah. I mean, yes, but nah.
We like, there's
Rush?
something about that
Oh,
too,
Rush,
the
definitely.
sickness Shit too.
Iron Maiden,
I
absolutely.
roll my eyes at it, but I can't.
Metallica's
deny it.
definitely some,
I
like,
can't
white
deny that it's
butt rock
catchy.
shit right there.
Journey, yeah, that's another good one. Don't Stop Believin', dude. That's gonna get a whole room of white folks.
Yep.
completely-
I was actually at a Journey concert. Unironically, 90% of people there were white people.
Get them all ready to hold.
There were other people there, but it was definitely mostly just like a bunch of random middle-aged white people. Straight up. I actually almost got kicked out of Journey, funny enough. Because some stupid security guard went and harassed me and my friends because my friend had a backwoods.
Like that, the whole.
We also had joints, but they first saw us with a backwoods and thought it was weed and harassed us ever since. So when we were actually smoking weed, or like we had to like run around everywhere throughout the entire venue.
Yep.
Honestly, maybe it's just locally around here and just anecdotally, but
Another one, dude.
like the biggest demographic of people aside from like white folks that are into metal around here are either Hispanics or Native Americans. And I don't know if that's just coincidental or if there's an actual trend to that.
You start hitting the
But I feel like there actually is a little bit of a trend towards that, because it seems like I notice a lot of people who happen to be Hispanic or Native American that love metal. And that's, to me, a good thing. Like, by the way, I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. That's awesome.
Goes up.
It's because it's like, oh, damn. It's like you're into some awesome music. Sweet. I know some metal bands have a lot of kind of like some token songs and gestures to Native Americans, like Anthrax has a couple. Indians is one from Anthrax. There's Native Blood by Testament.
And this never fails. This will, if you play this
Run to the
song,
Hills by
listen
Iron
to
Maiden.
it,
So there's a lot of songs that,
you will get
you know, take some positive
100%
jests
of the white
to Native Americans. So it makes sense why Native Americans are really into metal.
And about
It's just straight up like good, you know, like they're good songs and songs singing positively, you know, of them. So it's like, hell yeah.
any Eminem song, maybe, but that's not what I'm thinking about. Smells Like Teen Spirit, no. Not even that good of a song, bro.
It's actually a really easy
Ice
song.
Ice Baby, bro. Vanilla Ice. About half the place goes crazy once that starts.
I like how they just stole two riffs of two different songs. Under Pressure and then
You throw that at any party.
No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Those two riffs and made it a different song.
Drops of Jupiter. Yeah, dude. Now that she's back from the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her hair, yeah, that one, we'd love that shit. Dude, they ain't to have that train, man. Country Roads, yeah. I mean, that one's just like too obvious.
That's such a white person song,
Yeah,
Country
River
Roads.
City Weezer Blue Album song will get a white person turn.
What else get a white person turn? Oh, Beck definitely would, now that I'm thinking about it.
Talk about this and not talk about the black folks. There are some songs that are absolutely fucking 110% guaranteed to turn up black folks, no matter what. They're gonna get turned. And one of them that fucking like boggles my mind. Yeah, Luther Vandross, but I mean that has cross appeal because that gets me turned up. I'm talking about you put on
It's an interesting
that
conversation.
fucking Lil Jon song
Lil Jon? There's a guy named Lil Jon?
where he and
How many
Usher,
littles are
I
there?
think it is.
Like, are there so many littles that they're just like, okay, we can't think of weird, crazy names, so we're just gonna start thinking some generic names now. I'm gonna be Little John now. So like, what's next? Little Frank? And just like Little Joe or something? Like, we're just gonna get just like generic, random, just bland names now. I'm just gonna like, yeah, I'm Little Wilson. I'm Little Frank. I'm Little John, yo. Like, what the
The whole roof blows off the fucking.
I bet, is there a wiki page of like every little known in the music industry of just period? Like there has to be at this point, because there's so, I can't keep up with all of them. There's so many goddamn littles. I mean, like I remember TJ did a stream back in the day where he was doing this character called Little Beezy. And it was either later that stream or like the next day or some shit, but he found out there actually is a Little Beezy. Even though he made it up, he didn't actually make it up because there already was somebody named Little Beezy. I'm like, what? And he didn't even know that. But that's just like how many littles there are. It's just like you can't even make it up. There's just so many littles. Like if I make up a little right now, like Little Fur or some shit. There you go, Little Fur. I bet if I looked it up right now, there's some motherfucker out there named that. There's some little out there named Lil Fur or some shit, dude. Straight up. I'm not even kidding. I bet there is.
Dude, you start that beat, the whole black audience just jumps out of their seat and starts shaking their asses. Another one.
Oh, that will turn me up. I know what he's talking about.
Immediately gets black butts shaken and gets all the black folks in the room up. And it starts immediately with the beat, dude. I got 5 on it by fucking Lunas, dude.
That'll get me turned. That's a good song too.
Oh my god, dude. The whole fucking place starts fucking pouring some gin and juice. I mean, like, it's not guaranteed to turn the whites up, though. That's what I'm saying. We were talking
It's not
about
guaranteed,
songs
but it turns me
turn
up.
White people up. There's black people that get turned up at some of those songs. We're talking about, we're generalizing here racially. Can we just? Oh my God, no diggity. Oh, dude, that's a deep cut, but you're absolutely fucking right. I like the way you work it. No diggity. Like to bag it up. Oh shit.
That's a good song too. Like, come on, like.
Right there.
I mean, honestly, this just kind of goes to show that whenever it comes to a lot of like black music artists, at least to me, they usually got some good ass fucking music.
Hotel California. That
I mean, that shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's just, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of black artists out there that actually, like, even if I don't know them or actually like listen to them on a daily basis or anything like that, like if it happens to pop up, chances are I'm gonna like it.
What was that fucking? Oh man, dude, it was those 3 chicks. I can't remember their name. My sisters were all into them, so I guess it turns up at least white women too. It wasn't TLC, dude. It was.
Isn't that like isn't that like the most important thing to turn up right there?
It was In Vogue, dude. Yep, you're right, dude. There was a bunch of good guesses in there.
Isn't that what everyone's trying to?
SWV, Sisters with Voices. No, it wasn't them. It was In Vogue. That was the one.
In Vogue. They sound familiar.
This is way pre-Destiny's Child. Way pre-Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child was basically like
I'm gonna look them up actually.
SWV, TLC,
In Vogue.
In Vogue clones when they came out. Like, they're probably more well-known and well-remembered by younger people now, but, like, they were definitely, like, just building on the bones of all of those girl groups from the 90s.
Well, looking at some of the thumbnails for their music videos.
Dude, TLC ruled the roost, in my opinion. Like, they were
I'm digging it.
that I listened to, unironically.
Actually, looking at some of these song names, Free Your Mind, Don't Let Go. They actually look familiar. I might have actually heard them before.
Into it, and In Vogue was just not my thing. But TLC was dope. I had that.
TLC.
What was that album called? Was that album called Red Light Special? Or no, that was Crazy Sexy Cool. I had that album. Oh my god, dude, that album was banger after banger after banger after banger.
I just looked them up.
One of those like albums that
I see the album he's talking about.
you could just listen to end to end.
Crazy Sexy Cool. It's all one word. Okay, I might have to listen to that.
Waterfalls, man. Who doesn't like that song?
Song No
Yeah,
Scrubs.
dude. Rip
Waterfalls.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
Creep. Hey. Expanding my music interests out here.
Dude,
TLC, In Vogue.
At least
I've checked them out.
chicks, if not all 3.
I'm actually looking like I might be more into TLC here, though.
Chili Peppers. I don't know, man. I feel like
I'm definitely gonna check out
Chili
Crazy
Peppers
Sexy
kinda
Cool,
turned
though.
up black people, too.
That looks like
Maybe
a cool
not
ass
all of
album.
them,
Dude, Red Hot Chili Peppers gets everybody turned.
but I feel like
Like, one of my friends loves him so much, he literally did like a school report on him on them once. On the documentary when they recorded an entire album in a house and used the house as well as, you know, ambiance and music for the album too and shit.
This one only plays 90s R&B and hip hop.
He did like a whole entire fucking like music school report on it. I was like, damn son.
Your mom's probably around my age and coincidentally has good taste in music. It's not necessarily just the bass. There's some smooth jams that turn up the blacks too. Throw on some Teddy.
I mean, you don't need just bass. Bass is a very strong element, but not always.
Or some
Sometimes
slight-
being a little soft and, you know, taking it out a little bit is actually a good thing. And just letting, you know, some of the mids and some of the high ends, you know, kind of fill it up.
What the fuck, dude? Return of the Mac, yeah, dude. Oh my god, that you're so right too. That song will fucking. That song cranks the club all the way to 11. Snoop Dogg turns up white people and black people. Snoop Dogg is a crossover artist.
Dude, he turns up everybody.
Era of hip hop, the like.
Snoop definitely does that.
Era.
Who else does that?
Dude,
Fucking
it wasn't just like that broke.
MWA does that.
Hip hop started to overtake rock.
There's a lot of shit, like especially during that hip hop era. There was a lot of stuff that overlapped.
Music in America.
Who's a good
And it
boy?
never came back from it.
Who's the full doodle?
Like, think about it. Like, since about then, hip hop has been nothing but ascendant, and
Who's a good
rock
boy?
has been nothing but down.
I actually disagree with that.
Fucking transition.
And I mean, while I guess when it comes to popularity, I mean the whole broader elements of rock in itself as a genre and its influence is still very much alive. I mean, like there's definitely plenty of band like Royal Blood's a good example of kind of like an indie alternative, like garage rock band that's pretty big right now. And you know, and there's definitely plenty of people that use elements of rock or have grown up or have been around it that implement that in a lot of the different music genres that they're in. So I mean, I'm hard disagreeing with that on ball there. It's like rock on the down and hip hop's on the up. It's like I guess maybe technically, but the influencing elements of rock and you know what made rock itself, you know, it's transcended from that now. I mean, just like all these other genres. Like I mean, what made rock was things like blues and jazz, but you know the things that made that, you know, transcended, you know, into it. You know, like obviously there's a lot of rock songs and plenty of them that don't sound like blues or jazz, but you can kind of hear it in there. But it's because it's, you know, a lot of those influences, a lot of those elements were adapted and influenced and expanded, you know, into these new genres. I mean, rock's the same thing. I mean, music, that's just how music is.
Immediately, but I'm telling you, dude, I was right around the perfect age when that shit came out. When The Chronic dropped, and like that just seeded the like tons of this music that I was all into, and it came out of nowhere, dude. Before The Chronic dropped, other than the little mixtape that I had that had a bunch of old ass hip hop on it, I was listening to a bunch of country music and shit, and fucking just like garbage ass, like just garbage music.
Oh, whatever.
Some of it was okay.
Sure. Sure there, buddy.
Chronic just changed all that shit.
I mean, fuck. It's just so, like, he's saying that like it's a bad thing. It's like, it was country and shit. It's like, wait, that's a bad thing? Like, fuck, I listen to that and shit. I don't listen to goddamn, like... I can't even think of them. I don't even know what, like, modern country artists there are right now, concurrently. Aside Hank Williams III, but... Like, he's, like, kind of one of the last few, like, outlaw country artists that, you know, are around, at least, you know, for that specific type of genre. But, you know, when it comes to country in general, there's that. There's also, like, a very strong kind of, like, labor element of country that's within it. Like, older artists such as, like, Hazel Dickens, for example. You know, so there's country out there that's legit good. It's honestly, there's a couple of them that... actually, one by Hazel Dickens, They'll Never Keep Us Down, which is a pro-union labor song. That one I actually want to do a cover of. That's kind of like this element of more of a punky rock version of that song and a modern iteration of it, because the overall progression and the overall way the song is played is very punk rock like. I mean, very proto-punk. Like, it's like country punk almost. I mean, if listen to it. Because it's only 3 chords within the song. It's E, A, and then B7, and or not B7, B minor, and or a B minor 7, which is very easy chords because it's all like relatively within the same area on the guitar, at least when it comes to general chords and shit. So it really makes it very easy to add fills, to, you know, do so on, all sorts of shit. Overall, it's actually a very easy song, and generally for punk, it's usually a 3-chord progression where you're usually got like your main chord, and then a chord below and above that, or that main chord has 2 chords above that. You know, usually it's that type of, you know, formula, and it hits that. It's a very proto-punk formula element of music construction, at least, and the way it's played, it's very rock-like. But it's still, all in all, very bluegrass country, though. Very awesome song.
Everybody was listening to it. That, like all the young people at least. Older people didn't like it, but. And see, it really was a coastal thing because 36 Chambers didn't really reach me, and we're talking pre-internet here. Like, at least pre-modern internet, web 0.5 or whatever the fuck, right?
I think that's why East and
I really
West
didn't
Coast
get into
culture kind of
fucking,
existed and still does to some extent. Because it was built up from that.
until way later, like 10 years
Like if
later,
there's like an
probably.
East Coast artist that got big, usually they're going to be big over on the East Coast, not really on the West Coast. They might not hear about them as much, even if they do tour over there.
Smoke, Snoop Dogg.
And vice versa with the West Coast.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, without the internet, you're not really going to hear about like some guy making it big over on the East Coast if you live in LA or some shit.
It is a dream of mine to attempt it, but I have no faith in my succeeding.
No one can now smoke Snoop Dogg. That's just, anyone who tries to make that claim is foolish. I mean, I'm a stoner, but man, I'm looking at, I could look at Snoop and be like, I can't outsmoke you. I won't even try. I won't even attempt it. Even if he offered to challenge me, I just wouldn't accept it. I would just like, I forfeit right off the bat. Like, I know you're gonna win. Like, there's no point in trying to beat the king of, you know, chronic, dude. Like, At least in smoking it. Like, that dude smokes like a, like, every time you see this guy, he's got a blunt. Like, I mean, there ain't no way you can do that. There's just no way to outsmoke Snoop. You can't outsmoke the Snoop. I would try on principle. Nah. Not even on principle, because at least for me, on principle, I would know that he, like, you can't outsmoke him.
West Coast rap when it really
That way I
started to take
could say I
off.
tried.
There's a really sharp dividing line in there. And as a West Coast,
I don't, like, yeah, okay, maybe, but everyone knows that you lost. Everyone knows that you're going to lose. It's like, yeah, you tried, but we all know that no one can beat him.
West Coast.
So it's like, why? What's the point? Heard Snoop once outsmoked a literal dragon. Yeah.
Even the 90s,
And dragons are big, you know, and they can smoke a lot, but
I'm in a lot of
even that dragon couldn't handle it, bro.
I don't like bitching about it because
Listen,
it's,
Snoop would be a badge of honor.
Things, but my back is just
I guess you're taking it in a different perspective.
my neck.
I'm taking the honorable approach of
I'm
just,
a mess, dude.
you
Falling
know,
apart.
conceding to the master as is. You're taking the honorable approach of, like, it was an honor to challenge and be beaten by this wise, you know, warrior and shit. You're taking it from a different perspective. You're taking, like, the Klingon approach. You're going Klingon with it. It's like, it would be an honor to be defeated by you in battle.
You realize that, like, I'm going beyond that.
For I will attempt to regain my honor by just having the battle in itself.
If not late.
For that shall regain my honor.
Fucking up there. This is not something that
My honor shall be regained even in defeat.
I'm a part of it, sure, but my back has gone through years and years. Well, I'm relaxing now. I mean, it's not like I'm not claiming that what I'm doing.
Uh-oh,
now
Paul's
is
got
like
armchair
or something. I was bitching
doctors.
about that.
Armchair doctors on
It's
the
just that
loose.
I'm gonna hurt if I'm sitting here. I'm gonna hurt if I'm standing up. I'm gonna hurt if I'm laying down. I'm gonna hurt if I'm working. I'm gonna hurt if I'm not working. I'm gonna hurt if I'm reading. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's the truth of my existence. I'm in pain every day.
Isn't that the truth of all existence, though, unfortunately?
Very rarely.
I mean,
I have a day
I'm not in pain right now, but I'm feeling a little mild soreness in the back.
And so...
But that's about it.
It sucks.
Probably just because I kind of
It
slept on a
wears
little
you
odd.
Mentally, I do some yoga poses and stuff.
But that's also why I do a lot of stretches.
I do a lot. I do a whole regiment. Of
That's why I do
stretching
this so
to keep
often.
My back as mobile as it is. But it,
Ooh, we just bought some good stuff there.
you know,
See? See? That's why I do it. Ugh.
stretch your chest and it fixes my back. I do tons of stretches, dude.
It's the best thing you could do.
Yeah. I'm not really looking for. Trust me, dude.
Oh man, here they come. They're good.
I've looked into it.
That's-
When it comes to fixing like that. The best thing I could honestly
Paul,
do to fix
Paul,
my
stop
back
talking about it.
is wait,
The armchair fucking doctors are coming in.
and that's the
They're swarming.
control over this would be the best thing like that. As it stands, my back is just damaged. Like that is gonna cause me pain no matter what my fucking weight is.
That's just good. Like
My back is
so much of that's just due to the fallibility of our backs. They're so easy to fuck up. Like one wrong thing that you do in your life with your back, and it's just fucked. Like, you know, in some way from that. Like my dad did hardcore landscaping and fucking didn't really take too much care on his back, and now he barely can fucking walk from it. So, yeah, it's just like, you know, just if you don't take extra precaution with it, it will literally bite you in the fucking ass.
sounds like fun.
But I'm not even a dog on Paul and shit. I mean, you know,
Parts of it are.
some of that
Not
shit you
all.
can't control.
It has its perks. It has its perks.
Like honestly, like, you know, especially if, you know, some of the pains I deal with, like after work, man, some days my, like, because honestly a lot of the shit with my work,
Statement.
some things with the shelves and shit, they're like really low, and sometimes the stuff on top is also low, so I have to kind of hunch down a little. And sometimes I'm working, I'm kind of, you know, hunching down, cleaning shit or cooking something or making something. And, you know, doing so, I'll be kind of hunched down, looking down or some shit. So that's not necessarily going to be great.
Start catching that shit all
You know?
the time. And, you know, when you get old.
So it's just like, you know, especially after doing that for so long, multiple hours, it's not necessarily going to be great on you. That's why some nights I'm just like, oh, fuck, because it's gnarly. Especially if you're doing that for like 6 fucking years. And I know Paul can test that, because Starbucks is similar shit. Because you're kind of down making a coffee and shit like that, having your head and kind of hunched down doing that shit too. Same premise over there. I like, it's right across from my department. I see the Starbucks over there. I see what they're doing. It's not, you know, aside from making coffees and shit, they're body-wise, they're doing similar shit with their back. So yeah. I mean, also, like, I mean, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, random little health things that corporate will send off to you, whenever it comes to those stretches, as much as it seems kind of ridiculous, they are actually important. Like, it's one of the few things that they're giving you that actually is kind of good to probably take for consideration when corporate gives you random shit to look at. It's like, if they give you little things like, hey, here's how to do stretches and blah, 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 it's like, that's actually probably a good idea to look at. I just had a thought for a pick a line. Strike orgies. Yeah, that'll immediately get everyone arrested.
I'm not looking for back pain advice.
Like, you want the public on your side. Having everyone literally fucking outside ain't actually gonna help. Unless it's like a brothel, or like a sex work, or a strip club place. But even then.
And stop with the back.
Armchair doctors are so knowledgeable and not obnoxious in the slightest. Hey Paul, I noticed you're pretty overweight. Have you tried eating healthy and exercising? Paul, no, this is the first time ever in my life I've ever come across this concept. Please enlighten me. Oh, wise Wikipedia doctor.
It's like every fucking time.
Oh my god, yep.
Fucking internet comes at me.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go, I told you.
Stop taking advice from Chad. I never have.
Someone actually thinks he takes advice from chat. Who does that?
Especially not about this type of shit.
Oh my god, poor
I just
Paul.
don't want to. It clogs up the fucking chat, dude. You can guarantee I'm not gonna read a whole sentence that starts with like, "One of the things you can do for your back is." Well, this is not gonna
This
happen.
is...
I'm not looking for that.
Oh my god.
You don't have the key, dude. I have the internet. I've been to a bunch of doctors, had a bunch of MRIs and fucking X-rays done on my back and shit. I trust that and my day-to-day experience and what little bit works for me more than I trust the internet MD. It's just a waste of fucking space in the chat. So don't do it.
Man, parasocial relationships on the internet can be really weird. Straight up.
Life is weird. I've met people who have met Hitler, met Nikita Khrushchev, MLK, several presidents, and I'm just a random dude in my 20s, yeah.
I actually saw a video of technically the first female senator in the United States, and it was this woman from Georgia. Because there's this video from 1929 of her talking about, you know, her experience there. And I looked her up, and she's actually like a horrible, fucking horrible, wretched piece of shit, actually, if you look into her. And because she was like a full-on white supremacist type. She's from Georgia. And she was also one of the last official, like, people to hold office that had slaves. Like, because she was born in, like, 1839. And there's some, let me try to find out what her name was. I forgot what her name was, actually, so here, let me go on Google, because I'm sure it's going to be in my search results. Because, you know how Google loves to save those. It was like, Rebecca Latimer Felton, that's her name. Born in Georgia, died in Georgia. Was an American writer, lecturer, feminist, suffragette, reformer, and slave owner, and politician who became the first woman to serve in the United States Senate, although she served her only one day. She was kind of a symbolic senator. And guess what? She was a Democrat. She was a Democrat. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Felton was the most prominent woman in Georgia in the progressive era. Man, I hate how she's kind of somewhat tangentially tied into this, because she was also a prominent advocate for women's suffrage, but specifically white women's suffrage. So not even just women's suffrage, period. And was honored by appointment to the Senate. She was, yeah, whatever. Let's read about her fucking racial views. After she was married at the age of 18, Felton and her husband owned slaves before the Civil War, and she was the last member of either house of Congress to have been a slave owner. Felton was a white supremacist. She claimed, for instance, that the more money that Georgia spent on black people's education, the more crimes black people committed. Let that sink in for a minute. Like, how does that fucking make sense? For the 1893 World's Columbian Exhibition, she proposed a southern exhibit illustrating the slave period with a cabin and a real colored folks making mats, shot collars, and baskets, a woman to spin and card cotton, another to play banjo and show the actual life of the slave, and not the Uncle Tom sort. She wanted to display the ignorant content. Oh my god, I don't even want to read this. As distinguished from Harriet Beecher Stowe's Montessori's, or whatever the fuck. Oh my god, it gets worse. This gets fucking worse, by the way. This is what she thought. Felton considered young blacks who sought equal treatment half-civilized gorillas, and ascribed to them as brutal lust for white women. While seeking suffrage for women, she just decried voting rights for black people, argued that it led directly to the rape of white women. Felton also advocated more lynchings, saying that such was Elysian compared to the rape of white women. On August, oh my god, Jesus. On August 11th, 1898, Felton gave a speech in Tybee, Georgia, to several hundred members of the Georgia State Agricultural Society. She urged an increase in lynchings in order to protect rural white women from being raped by black men. She literally advocated this. She literally was openly giving speeches saying, yeah, go out and kill people. Go out and lynch them and shit. And there was actually, there was a very prominent case of this guy, Sam Hose, who was lynched. And honestly, the very specific details of this guy who got lynched is fucked up. Like, I looked into the details of the lynching of Sam Hose. It is fucked up. It's horrible. Like, it actually, like, it's on par with what the Islamic State has put out with their videos of executions. It's unironically on par with that. I'm not even kidding. It actually is. Like, you know how, like, the cartel will have videos put out of them killing, like, some other prominent cartel member that's probably done the same exact shit and stuff? It's literally on par with that. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, I don't even want to go in details to it. It's just that fucked up. It just is. It's insane. But anyway. But yeah, so it was basically in 1890. Here's the just quick synopsis. A massive crowd of white Georgians tortured, mutilated, and burned a black man, Sam Hose, who purportedly had killed a white man in self-defense and was falsely accused of, by unscrupulous journalists of raping his victim's wife. The crowd sold parts of his physical remains as souvenirs. Felton said that any true-hearted husband or father would have killed the beast that Hoses do less sympathy than a rabid dog. That's what Felton said. Like, this bitch was fucking, like, evil. Like, straight up. And it's like, I mean, honestly. Like, holy shit. And again, the details of the fucking Sam Hose lynching is what makes it so fucking, like, insane. What the fuck? Yeah, and by the way, that was back in... This was after the Civil War. That was in 1899. This is just at the turn of the century. And she was saying shit like this. And when she was in Senate for only a single day, it was between November 21st, 1922 and November 22nd, 1922. Maybe Marjorie is this woman's reincarnation? Probably. Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably like a more like subdued version of this. This is some seriously racist shit. It is. Like, this is like Rebecca Latimer Felton bitch is fucking like I mean, it makes you think like, man, if you think people today were racist, just a reminder, that is what the normal was back in the day. And that was in Georgia. So it's just like, yeah, that was the norm then. For a lot of fucking people. So, I mean, you know, while America is still racist as fuck, I mean, we've come a long way. We can put it at that. While there are still people who do think like this, I mean, it's nowhere near like that anymore. Because, I mean, she was able to get away with this, like, just, you know, like having mobs of people, you know, come up, you know, speaking this, you know, hearing her speak this shit. And it was just like the cultural norm to be like, yeah, you know, if there's any wrongdoing a black person do, you just lynch them. That's how you do it. And all this shit. And also how they even tamed the guy. Initially how they got Sam Hose was they got him and put him to the jailers, but when they were going to take him to the jailhouse, the mobsters literally put the guns up to the cops' heads and shit and said, no, we're taking him instead. It's like, because they want him to be executed right then and there, but it's like, no, we're going to take him to the jailer and, you know, we'll, like, finalize this case and blah, blah, blah. But they just wanted, you know, they wanted the Judge Dredd version of it. Some of that Wild West, you know, style of law, basically. So it's just like, fucking insane. I mean, honestly, it's just like, yeah, if the U.S. were to collapse, like, it makes me wonder how many people probably do actually believe that shit. Makes, you know, it's like, I mean, say what about guns and shit, but, you know, black people wanting guns and stuff, probably is the best thing they can have for them if shit collapsed and shit went south, honestly. Because, I mean, chances are there are people that legit have those fucking views and would probably, you know, have anything to have that type of fucking culture again. Because initially I was like, huh, reformist, feminist, suffragette. Like, when I first heard about her, I'm like, okay, maybe she reformed from these views? And I'm like, nope, she was a firm believer on that shit. Like, full-heartedly. If she was alive any longer, like, if she lived up to the 30s, she'd probably look at Hitler as, like, some angel or, you know, want to be, like, you know, knighted as, like, a saint or something. Well, I doubt she was Catholic, but... but, ugh. Psycho shit. Straight up. But it's just like, yeah. Make America great again, everybody. It's like, yeah, let's go back in time. Nah, I don't think there was a point. I mean, she was, you know, a lot of that shit was during the progressive era as well, and I know during that time, you know, there was a lot of, especially also during the South too, a lot of leftist labor organizing going on as well. So it's not like, you know, in Georgia that was the only fucking thing going on. And she was like the only fucking, like, you know, and her ideas and these ideas in general were the only thing there. She also says here she was an advocate of equal pay for equal work. So she's, you know, so she seemed like she was also strangely, weirdly tangented into that. It's just a fucking weird person. Listen to our server ramble, then listen to homeless drunk on a street corner warn us about how T-Rexes are literally alien pirates, and then know that the two are. Knowing to the latter is more tolerable because he at least is trying to make laws around his unfounded beliefs. Yeah. I mean, honestly, though. I'm just kind of reading a little bit more about some other random shit here. Make America gay again. True. There's also like a thing on here that has like a whole newspaper thing that it's a transcript of a speech she made. It's essential speech before the articles. Ay. Man. The mind of crazy ass white supremacists, dude. I mean, all in all, when you think about it, like, I mean, that Marbury case was kind of, you know, like one of these lynching cases too, that in modern sense, like, I mean, so all, you know, it makes you realize that, yeah, these type of ideas are still very much alive, but, I mean, definitely nowhere near to the same extent as they used to, because holy shit. I mean, to have, like, actual, like, notable people who are even representatives to be, like, vigorous advocates of things like lynching is like, whoa. Whoa. Like, not that I guess it's, like, one thing to be like, yeah, fuck, you know, whatever the fuck, as, like, you know, some politician, and then, you know, be like, well, lynching, yeah, let's not do that. Yeah, I don't think, like, there's not, like, there's a difference between that and being, you know, like, yeah, you know, the lynch part, yeah, it is okay, yeah. It's like, one, you're just not saying the, you know, quiet part loud, and the other part, you are saying the quiet part loud. So it's like, honestly, all in all, there ain't no much fucking difference to this shit. Because I guarantee you, honestly, like, you know, some of these motherfuckers, you know, like, from Marjorie Taylor Greene for sure, like, I know she definitely has, like, these type of fucking ideas. I mean, she's openly advocated it, too, you know, in some cases. And so, God, leave me alone. I mean, plus there's just, like, all, you know, like, the whole thing about, oh, these anti-vaxxers, BLMs, and all that shit, where you have, like, you know, countless, you know, different types of, you know, people that have the advocation of, like, yeah, you need to take the law in your own hands, and blah, blah, blah. Because these crazy fucking mobs of, well, that pish 13%, as one Fox News comment put it once. From one of the comments that we saw from last stream. It's like, ugh. Leave Bandit alone. Zukov, get over... Zukov, get the fuck over here. Fucking dork. Here. There's not much left in here, but hey. Hey, no, Here. Eat that. That too. Okay. You're ridiculous, bro. Can't just leave Bandito alone for like 30 seconds to let him just do his business and do whatever he's doing? Psycho dog? Like, you know what Bandit's capable of? He literally bitch slaps you every time. Like, are you into it? Are you like, are you a masochist or something? Are you just into the pain that Bandit gives you? Silly dog. Yeah, what? Took off. Oh my god. Remember someone pulls out that line in the crime rate counter. No, would you like to know what ethnicity of most of America's mass shooters have been? I mean, seriously, because it's strangely enough happens to be that do that a lot. And also, it seems like white people are also the ones that seem to be very gung-ho about not wanting their guns being taken away either. So it's like, maybe we should build a wall around white people with guns until we figure out what's going on. I assume some are good people. Look off. Come here. What time is it? Cool. Alright, yo. I'll get one more bowl loaded up here for this nice, lovely little evening. Yes, yours. Not evening. It's more like afternoon. And then, oh god, it's a Friday. Oh wait, is it? No, it's a Thursday. Oh, thank goodness. Why did I think it was a Friday? What the fuck? At least it's a Thursday, so it's not going to be crazy busy like, you know, Friday would. Oh. I don't know why I thought it was Friday. I went in this with a mindset of like, it's Friday, I'm going to have a busy day today. But no, it's not. Well, maybe it will, I don't know. Hopefully not. But chances are, probably. Well, I don't know. I mean, because it's always a fucking goddamn coin toss. Who am I kidding? I don't know. It tends to be pretty slow on Thursdays, thinking about it. But I also don't work Thursdays usually. I had those days off last couple times. Oh, I'll find out. I'll figure it out. Look off. Look at you, you handsome baby. You're just a handsome baby. Yes, you is. Anyway, I'll be back later tonight, as my usual. So, at least for now, I'll call good. Had fun delving into crazy racist psycho bitch. So that was always that's fun. But anyway, at least in the meantime, peace out, and of course, I'll be around for that next.